Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 295 of the On Air Advocate. Where at the On Air Advocate, we provide education, advocacy, and supportive services for special needs parents, caregivers, and those with different abilities and complex medical conditions. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I am super excited if you are here joining us this afternoon or whether you're catching this on the replay. Now, as always, if you think any of the content today that we are talking about could be relevant for anyone in your network or your circle, please share the love and hit that share button. So with that, if you guys have been following along, you definitely know we are in our transition series. And I am so excited to welcome back to the show some of the most inspirational people that you will ever meet. Pete's Diaries, which is Dede and Peter Dankelson. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks. It's good to be with you again.
Yes. And today we're going to be talking about how to rock your life. And so when we talk about transition, which everyone at Pete's Diaries already knows this, is that there are many layers to that. You know, a lot of young adults transition out of high school, and sometimes they go the educational route to different four-year colleges, certification programs, and whatnot that way. Then there's also employment and job coaching and certification courses. And then there is that really the good stuff, right? The meaningful work, the things that we do that we are passionate about, that we find purpose in. And Pete and Dede are here today because, I mean, you guys are just an example of how you can make that happen. So, you know, definitely if your young adults are out there and they are looking at ways to, you know, they have things that they just aspire to do. They have passions that they just can't get out of their head, that they're like, Mom, Dad, this is what I want to do, that you definitely can find ways for them to do it. So welcome to the show, guys. I'm happy to have you guys here and for you to share. With this being your first, not your first time, since this might be some other people's first time viewing the show, can you give them a little bit of a background about Pete's Diaries?
You want me to take that one?
Yeah. We're gonna be tag teaming it for the show.
I have the longest memory. It's transitioned, to use that word, a lot over the years. So today Pete's Diary is primarily the publisher, distributor, and management for Peter's music and our books. So in essence, it's a record label, a publishing company, a distributor, and a manager. And I pretty much do all the boring stuff, you know, like the management and the writing and the content creation, so that Peter can do all the fun stuff like music and guitar videos and speaking. So he's the speaker. Pete's Diary started more with the speaking side when Peter was in middle school. So Peter's 21 now. When he was in middle school, so around 12, 13, we started speaking at schools about kindness. And that kind of was, it was inspired by the book and movie Wonder by R.J. Palacio, which was about a boy with a craniofacial syndrome. And Peter, you know, we've been involved with another charity called Children's Craniofacial Association, or CCA Kids, since Peter was born. They've been a huge part of our lives with Peter being born with a craniofacial syndrome. So I'm on the board of directors for that charity, and I saw an opportunity to educate the public about facial differences. So I said, well, our kids are like real life examples of this fictional character. So let's go into schools and let's go into community events and things and put a positive spin on facial difference instead of, you know, being the Freddy Krueger in the movies and stuff. So and, you know, we were very fortunate that that movie and the book was such an international bestseller. So, you know, we kind of rode that, the popularity of that. So it was great. And then our speaking kind of transitioned more into self-acceptance. And the courage to be kind, not just be nice, but have the courage to stand up to your peers, have the courage to stand up to a bully, or to protect someone else. So we were going strong with that. And Peter was in high school, and we were looking at what's next for him for transition. Um, he was not really college bound. He was not, he's always had a unique life since birth. And that's kind of the mindset I had for him when we transitioned from high school is he's not going to have a typical transition to college. Like his brother right now is a senior in high school, and we're doing all that more
Right.
typical, college planning, filling out the applications, college visits, things. So my husband and I were kind of like, well, what's going to be next for him? We had the speaking going strong, and I established Pete's Diary as an LLC at that time because we had been doing the speaking just for charity and not really even asking a speaker's fee for it, but thinking that Pete's Diary could be more than just a volunteer type situation.
Right.
And a career for him. We established it as a business. So we were going strong, and he graduated in 2019. And we had lots of speaking engagements booked, and then the pandemic hit.
Yes, it sure did, didn't it?
It sure did, yeah. So then we kind of were like, what do we do now? Because all the in-person events, and I tried to pivot and do virtual school visits, but I think one of the problems was the teachers were so overwhelmed with trying to figure out how to do online school, and they just couldn't add something that wasn't necessary into the mix. So, and really, our assemblies are supposed to be fun, not work. So,
Yeah.
so it just didn't work too well. We've done as it went on longer, we've done a few virtual visits, but I'm excited because we're getting in-person bookings again now for this school year. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
But I guess the other side of that is, I was focused on the speaking, and then Peter decided to start playing the guitar when he was 15. And
You started when you were 15. Like,
yeah,
how is that even possible? You're amazing.
yeah, Pete's Diary was established as the speaking business, and the name came from a diary I kept when he was born in the NICU. But I never anticipated Pete's Diary would be like a rock and roll video channel. But all our social following is built under Pete's Diary, so the name is just you're kind of stuck with the name now.
Yeah, right.
So it was kind of like instead of Peter Dankelson, it became Pete's Diary, but the music is all under your name. So Peter started doing these videos, and those were what was getting those were getting the most engagement on social media, and everyone was stuck at home, and people were loving it. And then actually one of your other videos that went viral was about your hearing aid, which was cool.
That's really neat.
It was sort of a combination. So we sort of married the motivational content with the music and his talent playing guitar, and that's kind of what we've been doing ever since on social media.
Okay.
So, and we had no idea how good he was because, of course, my husband and I thought he was good, but it's not an easy career path. So.
Right. And so that started obviously at 15, and now I mean, there's just so much.
Yes.
You guys, but aside from the speaking engagements and talking to students, I know now you guys have a book.
Yes.
You have a book coming out in October.
Yeah.
And really that speaks to, well, I mean, you have your guitar in there, which I love. I mean, because you're rocking it out. But to our differences and all of that. So, Pete, can you tell me? So your mom has brought us up to this point here.
Yes.
So when you were 15 and you grabbed the guitar and you're like, did you just fall in love with it, or did you always know you wanted to play the guitar?
Well, it was kind of interesting because let's see, it all kind of started. Sorry, kind of towards the end of my freshman year of high school. It was kind of an interesting point in my life because I guess a little over a year prior, when I was going into high school, going to be a freshman, we moved from where we used to live. We used to live in Michigan, and then we moved to Chicago. So kind of, that was a big transition for me. not just from going from middle school to high school, but changing states, having to make new friends,
Right?
new everything.
Your medical team, right? Changing all
Right, and
Yeah.
that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was everything had to change.
Yeah.
So music was kind of a big thing at that point to kind of turn to and help me, relax and feel a little bit better. And then it all just kind of boiled over. I kept listening to a lot of music my freshman year of high school, and then kind of towards the end of the year, it just kind of boiled over, and more out of curiosity. I said to my dad one night, I'm like, you know what? I think I might want to learn how to play guitar. It seems like it might be kind of fun. And I don't think anyone really thought much of it. I didn't really either. It just was kind of like, hey, that might be kind of fun. So lucky for me, he played it in high school. So he has, guitar amp that he used, but it was still, he still had it around. So basically pulled that out of storage. And then I just, started learning on all of that. And then I, went on YouTube and started looking at lessons, and I've, been obsessed ever since.
So have you learned all of your stuff? I mean, obviously your dad played, so he could give you some of the basics, right? But have you learned all of this? Have you actually taken formal paid guitar lessons, or have you learned all this from watching videos on YouTube and stuff?
I mean, for the most part, I taught myself kind of. Because I mean, there's so much you could find online. It's just I'm finding this out again. I'm trying to learn something else, but it's more of you find it, and you got to really have the drive to want to do it because it's tough. But I did take lessons for a little while at a local school of rock, but for the most part, it was kind of on my own, finding stuff out.
And then so you find this as kind of like your newfound passion. It's something that helps you relax. Because
Yeah.
in the beginning of this transition series, we did talk to some writers and authors. They talk about obviously journaling and writing sometimes, especially for young adults, as a transition can be not only therapeutic, but then can branch you into possibly using that one day to become an author, to share your story. So with this, the guitar kind of became that for you at first, because you weren't looking to like play in front of people. You just wanted it for yourself.
Kind of, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, and then just the love grew, and then do you remember the day, like, you did your first video on social media? Do you remember when that was? Oh,
Um,
questions. I didn't send them questions beforehand.
no, it's
I
fine.
don't remember your
I
first
don't.
video.
I don't remember either.
I think it was when you were
I don't
around,
think it's there anymore.
like, how many years after you started playing?
Oh, did you post on social media?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
to
wanted to
actually
post
show
title.
I don't, um, I don't think it was
You guys
really.
were on the show in 2019, and
Okay.
you played me some awesome music that
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
yeah, so it had to be before that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I mean,
I
in
don't
high
know.
school, I was sharing videos and stuff. Just kind of like on my own, just having fun.
Yeah, I
Right
think on
now,
your
so-
personal you were,
Oh
but
yeah. Yeah.
on the Pete's Diary, I really wasn't sharing any of that because I was focused on the speaking, and
Right.
all that social media was targeted for educators. So I really didn't. I mean, I might have, I don't know, maybe posted something, but we were starting the last time you spoke. We were in California for a week, and you were incorporating the music into the speaking and into the school assembly. So we had Gibson guitar loaned you a guitar and amp in California. Yeah. So we did that, and all the assemblies, we kind of end with some dancing and doing the wave, and Peter plays the guitar, and music is a unifier, right? And it makes you feel good. So it's just kind of get the wiggles out too after sitting and listening to someone speak. But you kind of. And it was 2019 in March, before quarantine and all that. We started the TikTok account.
And that was it was still 2020.
Or yeah, it was 2020. Yeah, 2020. We started the TikTok account under Pete's Diary because we were going to speak at all these schools in California, and I said, "Well, this is the big new thing for
Right.
middle school, high school kids." So Pete's like, okay, whatever. And I'm like, well, let's do a fun video, like a funny video or something. So we did one with him, like literally rocking his prosthetic ear off, his fake ear. So, and that of course got some attention. So, and then we had some, we shared some of the assemblies on TikTok and stuff. But then, when we came home and couldn't do any of that anymore, then you posted Hotel California. That's what.
That was.
I don't know that was your first, but that's the first one that got so much attention.
I think it was. Yeah, that was a surprise. It was really cool. Yeah.
And that was
TikTok. What was it?
But did you post that first through TikTok?
I think so. Yeah. I think it was kind of like. Yeah.
That video is still on one of our old YouTube channels, and there's comments about it every week. Or like, it's so funny because your hair is so like.
Right, yeah.
Bushy from like no haircut.
Yeah.
It's so old. It looks so old to me, but it's only a couple of years ago, but
yeah.
It's so funny.
So did you say, like, once you started playing that guitar, did you know, Pete, that like this, I love this? Like, did you know after you started practicing, like, I absolutely love it?
Yeah.
And you're like, this is what I want to do. So did you like come to your mom at any point and be like, okay, listen, I want to play on stages and go on tour?
I remember the first time I played for people.
Yeah.
It was like a local talent show in the high school. And it was kind of like, that was like another test to see if I'd actually like it, kind of. And I did. It was really neat. Yeah.
That was a cool. Yeah. So I don't know if you've heard of Best Buddies. Peter went to Libertyville High School, and they had a Best Buddies chapter that was very active, and it's a national nonprofit, and it pairs. It's inclusive, it's like I don't know how you'd say it, like any kind of special education students and mainstream students together, and as a group they'd go to homecoming together, or it was just so fun because they just did fun things, and one of the things they did was a talent show. So and you always enjoyed being involved in that.
Yeah,
it was just a great group of students, just fantastic. But we had a talent show, so Peter played his first live audience to the Best Buddies talent show.
Yep. Yeah, that was fun.
Awesome. This is pretty awesome. And so at what point did you decide in yourself, like, I want to take this to the next level, and this really is like what I feel, is meaningful to me, and brings a lot of purpose? When was that? Is that just recently? Do you feel like you've gotten to that point where you're like, I want to do this every day?
I don't know when that really hit. I don't know if it could have been any moment on stage where it's like, okay, I really like how this feels and how much fun it is.
What about when you recorded? So about almost a year ago, you recorded your first EP. So that was your first time being in the recording studio.
Yeah.
Did that make you feel like I want to do this some more?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's original music and all that, so that was definitely exciting. Yeah, I mean, I think
from the moment you started playing, there was really nothing else you ever wanted to do. From my viewpoint, it's the only thing.
It's hard to tell.
As a parent, you try to get your kid involved in different things. Sports were never even an option for him because of his medical challenges. But I don't know. We tried, Cub Scouts and fencing in high school, because I'm like, okay, he's always been a Star Wars fan. He'll love fencing because it's like a sword or lightsaber. And then I don't know what else he tried. Karate. I don't know. We tried different things, but he was always like, it's okay, but
it never stuck.
No, and I didn't really pursue lessons for him for guitar, because every time we tried to push him into something, it took all the fun out of it for him. So doing this at home, and I don't know, I know like things like his hearing loss, he's more exhausted. Like he was always more exhausted after school. And I try to appreciate that, but I probably never really did because I don't experience it. You're exhausted after being all that sensory stuff at you all day long, the noise. I mean, you have vision issues, you have hearing issues, that all kind of impact how you make it through a day. You know, you have to expend more energy. I think coming home to a quiet room and just playing whatever music he wanted to play, not what someone asked him to play,
Right.
or practice on his own, was just like, that was your therapy, that was your meditation, it was your mental health break. I mean, playing
Still
is what
is,
got
yeah.
you through some of your really big surgeries, because two of his biggest surgeries were in high school after he started playing guitar. So that was huge for you to have that, something to distract you.
And Dede, what would you say, if parents are listening and they are young adults, do you have something they're extremely passionate about and that they want to pursue? What advice would you give to them?
You can't force it because we've tried that. It doesn't work. At least with someone so stubborn. But at the same time, I guess the advice is, try to support it as much as you can. You have to be realistic. I mean, we're still working at making this a business. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. And sometimes, I guess my advice is you have to take a step back and just let things unfold. And everyone jokes your dad, and you guys always joke I'm a control freak or whatever, but I mean, being Peter's mom has really taught me I have to kind of just like let things unfold sometimes, because I mean, with the medical ups and downs, you think, okay, once this gets resolved, then I can whatever. Well, there's always something else that comes up.
Right.
Like new parents that are overwhelmed with medical things with their kids. I'm just, knowing from experience, when they start talking, you don't want to say it, but you're like, there's always going to be something.
Right. Right.
So it's the
Yes.
same thing with, becoming an adult and independent. Maybe it's going to take your child longer. And that's okay. I mean, as long as you can handle that and support that financially. And we can. So, I mean, we're trying to let him grow as a musician, I mean, we're just kind of like giving you that time to do that. And at the same time, we're working to make Pete's Diary, having different funnels of income from that. So we published his autobiography in January. So that's out there. And we have the picture book coming out in October. And you came out with your first EP, your original music. And that came out in May. So you have your music out now, and you're starting to work on your second album. I mean, it took time for him to even put a band together, because, even during normal times.
Find bands. Like, how do you find a band?
Well, exactly. Even during normal times, it's difficult, and very few people make a full-time career out of being a musician. So you either find high school or college kids that are in high school and college, so they, it's part-time kind of thing, or people that are working and have full-time jobs, and it's part-time for them too. So I mean, you're one of the very few people that, I mean, you have a lot of things you do, but you have more flexibility. So
In doing that.
yeah.
Great advice. Now, Pete, what would be your advice to young adults that, really have things that they love to do, and they want to pursue their passion? What do you think that takes?
Well, you got to be determined, but I guess if you're passionate about it, you want to be determined with it. And don't give up on it either, because I mean, definitely being a musician, it's pretty tough. But just stick with it, and lots of fun things will come out of it.
Well, and maybe it has to be a hobby more than a career choice.
I mean, that
but
too.
If you stick with it,
yeah.
maybe you can transition it to a career choice while you're doing
Right.
something else to pay the bills. So,
Right. Yeah.
Right. And I think having, like you were saying, Dede, having a supportive figure around you, whether that is just a loved, a loved one in your life, or whether that is a parent that is there to be supportive and encouraging and, open and to ideas and being creative. My son, who is now going to be 25, he has two things he loves. He loves doing art and coloring, and he loves dogs. So here I am thinking, okay, so how could we incorporate dogs, coloring, giving back to dog shelters and communities? And so we created, a small nonprofit, off of that. And so, but you have to have, like you're saying, Dee, that other person also in your life that's willing, whether that could even be a teacher, or any type of mentor that's willing to
Yeah.
be supportive and open to ideas of how you can turn a hobby into maybe a little bit more, than just that.
Yeah. It's I mean, I think every journey is unique. It's
Mhm.
you have to kind of take advice from people and opinions, but it's your journey to unfold. So
Right.
whatever you're comfortable with and capable of doing and able, that it's
Mhm.
you're in control of it. The decision you have to make. I don't know. I mean, we don't have every day is different. I don't feel like I have anything structured. I just like, oh, okay, what do I have to tackle today? Do I have to learn how to upload music and distribute it or license it or learn more about this crazy music
So I
industry?
bet you this has been a learning experience for you too. I mean, you're growing and
Oh,
learning.
completely. I wrote the autobiography. I self-published it. I designed the cover. Yeah, you have to be very self-taught in a lot of things. And that it's true. You can teach yourself just about anything with YouTube and the internet.
Kind of, yeah.
I know they say if you have enough time that you can find anything these days. I just think back to, I'm sure Pete, when you were first born, and like when my son was first born, there wasn't.
No, yeah,
There was nothing. They like gave you a brochure about things to learn about stuff.
right. Here's an 800 number. Yeah.
And call and sit on hold.
Yes. Yeah. We had dial up when you were born. I remember. I said it was in the dark ages of dial up, and I did find like listservs at that time. It wasn't Facebook. It was sort of the early version of social media. It was like Yahoo listservs. So I found one about Goldenhar Syndrome and another one about Pierre Robin, which is a lot of those kids had trachs because of the small jaw. And that was huge for me, like that community of like being able to ask questions and stuff. But that's the Pete's Diary name originated there because it wasn't like I could do a Facebook post to update friends and family. So, and you say like writing is therapeutic. It was for me. I would come home from the NICU all day and I would write out kind of what happened for the day. And it was good to have it documented too. And I don't know why, but I always wrote in Peter's voice. So I've been writing in the poor guy. I've been writing in his voice his whole life. So, so the autobiography was written in his voice. It is his story, and he, of course, approved it and everything, and read it and made sure he was okay with everything in it. But yeah, so that's how it came about. Because I mean, it's so much easier to find a community now online than in 2000 or in the 90s or whenever, before social media. So
Yeah, most definitely. And so, I mean, I'm just so excited that you guys are here and able to share, because I think that there are so many young adults and their parents that, they don't always see all the different opportunities after their young adults transition out of high school, and the young adults themselves don't always see that. Sometimes you feel like, I was just on an interview with another young adult this week, and she was like, I graduated and right away the employment was, being a greeter here or doing this. Like I was already, given a box that I had to be in. And
yes,
that we should never give up on our dreams, and we should pursue our passions, and whether that becomes a job or a really great hobby.
Right. Yeah. You have to have something like that in your life, right? Whether it's going to pay your bills or not, you need something like that in your life, no matter who you are.
Right.
Yeah. I think a lot of adults get, in this community get, forced into a box that they don't want to be in.
Right.
and limited. It's limiting.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Living a life without limits, and that's what everybody deserves to have, right?
Right. Right. And like you said, for Peter, it's determination. You have to be very determined. You know, people ask all the time, "How did you get so good?" Well, he literally plays and studies music all day, every day. Like he maybe a bit obsessed, but
Yeah,
but it's
a little
truly,
bit, yeah.
yeah. I mean, he doesn't just play; he studies the artists. He learns about the history, their stories, their influences. You know, you go down these rabbit holes of different. You know, you end up going clear back to the Delta blues or something from rock and roll. You know, I mean, but all that is absorbed in when you play. That's all absorbed, and it comes through in your playing. So I guess it's, you know, your dad and I are giving you that opportunity to be able to do that.
Hmm. And now, Pete, I just because I do know that so many young adults sometimes face other challenges, negativity coming at them, and I'm certain because social media is not a nice space.
No, it's not.
Not very nice. And I have seen you do some videos where I'm like, you go, Pete. Just the way you confidently talk about your differences, and our differences are what make us unique, right? I mean,
Yes.
that is what makes us up. So how do you deal with that? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes with negative comments and things along that line for yourself.
Well, for the most part, you gotta just try to ignore it,
Mhm.
and know that it's not true. Especially if it's, you know, it's coming from a stranger on the internet. You know, they don't know you. They don't know your story. They don't know what you've been through. You know, they don't know your experiences. Um, um, and sometimes too, I just delete the comments, especially if there's like an argument going on. It's just kind of like, I mean, that's one of the, I guess, nice things too, is that, you know, there are people that'll stand up for you in the in the comment section sometimes, um, which, you know, is a bit reassuring. But sometimes it's just kind of like, this isn't worth anyone's time, and I'll just delete the comment.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always have, if you own the account, you have the power to delete and block.
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, we've built a pretty positive community online. I mean, that's 100% our goal. And you can have an opinion about your playing, but, you know, be constructive about it, you know, like,
Mhm.
and you can ask questions. I mean, you know, I'm curious, what do you wear on your head? You know, what is that device on your head or whatever? But when you say, like, are you a cyborg? Or, you know, I call this kid shrapnel. I saw that one the other day. Um, just, I don't know. There's no reason for it, and
Right.
you're immediately blocked on our channel. You don't get it. You don't get another chance. I just, I don't
Right.
tolerate it. I don't need that in my life, and neither does he.
Mm.
Right.
And it's, I don't know why, but it's always so much easier to remember those comments than,
Yeah.
and then the hundreds and thousands of positive comments. And you get so, I mean, there's so many every day, and it is reassuring, and it's great. But yeah, I don't know. You can't avoid it.
Right, right. Just because that's, I don't know. I mean, and that's why I love what your mission is in spreading kindness and, you know, spreading that word at schools. Because I don't know what happened in our world. Because I don't know. Take me back to 1980, and
Yeah.
you know, if you wanted to tell somebody a comment, you had to put your shoes on and walk all the way.
I know. Yeah, it's so easy to just, yeah, people. And most of those comments are from people that I don't even know if they're real people. You know, like, you go
Yeah.
look at the account, because sometimes I try to go look at the account and think, well, maybe, because sometimes the intention isn't what you think it is when you first read a comment. You're like, well, maybe they didn't
Oh,
really mean it
right.
that way, or, you know, we have a lot of international people that, you know, English isn't their first language. So maybe, you know, I always try to give the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
but, you know, a lot of them are, yeah, no. It's like, yeah, this
Don't
isn't worth your time.
Yeah.
don't give it your time. I do
Yeah.
this. I'm big on blocking. I'm
Oh,
blocking.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why waste the energy on trying to figure it out or trying to say something or find words? Because it's just that the negativity that nobody needs,
Yeah.
right?
If you try to engage with it, it's just like anything that's kind of divisive right now. Like if you try to engage with it, it's just a losing. There's no good outcome.
There's no good outcome.
Right, right. Well, on the most positive note ever, you have so many exciting things coming, and I have seen you like performing all over. So
Yeah.
before we wrap up for today, I would love to hear all the new things that are coming. And are you playing? Are you doing any more concerts? I saw you the other day, one of your videos, you were at like a little mini gig. I don't know if those are in your hometown or
Well, the gigs right now are kind of a bit of a. We had like a 5 weekend run in a row of shows, and that was a lot of fun. But let's see. That kind of that kind of ended like last week.
Well, it ebbs and flows. You know, you play all these places, and they all want you guys back. Like at House of Blues Chicago, they're on the rotation schedule, but you know they're not going to play there every month because they want a couple months in between and things like that. So, and they missed the festival circuit this past summer because they were recording their EP and focused on that. And I'm new at trying to figure out how to book gigs, so that's something else I'm learning.
I bet you when Pete was born and you were sitting in the NICU, I bet you did not think that you would be trying to book.
No, I used to say I felt like I earned my like nursing degree or something being his mom. Now I feel like I'm earning like my music degree. I'm not being a very good student either. I'm probably a C or D level. So, well, anyways, yeah, I'm just learning. You got to find people you trust. That's another bit of my advice. It's hard to do it.
Yeah.
With social media and stuff, and that's another thing. People transitioning, trying to find a career. There are so many opportunities online now with social media. We don't make a fortune on social media, but there are ways to build a following and maybe provide some content or things. As a side hustle or, something like that. But it's just lots going on.
And you've had I feel like you had a lot of musicians reach out to you. You've had some, decent, like connections. Have a lot of them kind of found you through your TikToks and social media or things people have shared?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. Instagram and TikTok and Facebook has gotten bigger too. You've had a lot of, pretty well-known musicians reach out to you with very, very nice, mentoring and advice and things. It can be a very nice community.
Yes.
That's been a really good experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the next big thing is the book coming out. Next thing.
Yeah, the picture book, Peter's Rockin' Ear.
I love it. I mean,
it's all about self-acceptance, about Peter getting stared at and then wanting an ear and getting an ear and then realizing that, maybe it's okay just to be different. Like, it's okay to want the ear too, but if I don't have it, it's cool.
It's all right.
But it's all very rock and roll themes and the band, everybody's a character in the book. Your brother's a character in the book. Your dad and I are characters with the illustrations. I'm like, can you make me more like the 40-year-old me instead of the 50-year-old me?
I look good right off the bat.
Yeah, yours is good. I'm like,
and then the dog, right? Is it you have two dogs? Are both the dogs in the book, or just one of the dogs?
There's just one dog. The dog is sort of a compilation of all the dogs you've had in your life, I guess. I don't know, but the dog is it's a white dog with a black star around its eye, which is a nod to Paul Stanley from Kiss, who also has microtia or missing an ear. He was always one of Peter's like kind of mentor heroes.
Yeah, he was someone I looked up to
for overcoming the hearing loss and things like that.
No, it was really inspiring to see
his story.
that, Paul's story of microtia and everything with that. Being the front man of Kiss. That's
He did pretty well for himself.
Yes.
And the dog's name is Angus after Angus Young from AC/DC because That was Peter's first Guitar Hero. So
yeah, that's my guy.
So yeah, it's a really fun picture book. I can't wait to share it. So it got delayed a little bit, but it's coming out October 18th. If you pre-order, you might get it before that. Because I'm hoping I actually have the book in my hand at the end of September. So I will ship books as soon as they come into us. But yeah, on Amazon and all the other online sites, you can order it on October 18th or pre-order it now.
Yep.
And of course, all the books that come from us are autographed. And like I said, I'm working on some fun extras like coloring pages and stickers and things like that. So, it's fun. So we have the autobiography, which is available on our website and Amazon, all the usual places. And then we have, oops, I didn't silence my phone. And then we have Peter's EP, which is under Peter Dankelson. And that is available on iTunes and Apple Music and Spotify and all that. If you want an actual CD, which I was shocked that people actually do still buy those, we have that on our website.
That's on your website? Okay.
Yes, you can order those and the band autograph those. So yeah, our website has all our stuff on it, but it's all on music streaming and book online websites and stuff like that too. So
one day I'll figure out how to stream music and put it on my phone. And I don't have Pandora. I don't have Amazon. People are like, what do you do when you want to listen to a song? I'm like, well, I look it up on YouTube. I don't know. And then
on YouTube too. Your music's on YouTube.
Yeah,
you can find it.
Well.
Yeah, and then and then I use a CD player in the car. I know. CD player's gonna be gone altogether, probably.
Yeah.
All the good things we have to say goodbye to.
There's good and bad to all of it.
Yeah.
But some people don't. I don't even think they play the CD. They just want a physical product that is signed and whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So, no, we're working. You're going to start working on your next album, so that will hopefully come out next spring.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. That's in like the baby stages right now.
More, I'm sure. Starting in January, you'll have more gigs, concerts.
Yeah,
mostly around Chicago area is where they've been playing. But speaking, we're going to Ohio to do some speaking, and we're starting to travel for speaking again for business sales meetings, conferences, community events, and schools. So yay, back in schools.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I want to just thank you guys so much for taking this time with me this afternoon and sharing about Pete's diary and all of that has evolved.
It's still evolving.
To rocking on stage. So I wanted to thank you guys for being here. And Pete, is there anything before we log off today, or Dede, that you would like to leave the guests with? Any last thoughts? Final thoughts.
I always talk too much, so I'm trying to get.
I don't know.
I guess my final thought is that I think September is Suicide Prevention Month, and we're going to do something with the boot campaign that You Matter.
Okay.
It's suicide prevention for veterans, which is a cause that we want to support. But bottom line is everybody matters. Everybody's story is important. So never give up on your story.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And I will be following you guys with that campaign that you do with You Matter. Thanks for letting me know about that. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for spending the afternoon with me and sharing your story once again. And thank you all for following our transition series today. And we will be back again tomorrow. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for having us.